7 of 8. Giants to 500. Woohoo! Hey, don't knock that, by the way. Don't eye roll me in your car right now because they got to 500. You got to get to 500 before you can go over 500, before you can be 5 games over, 10 games over, 15. You guys know how this works. You won 107 games a couple of years ago, for goodness sake. So a nice game tonight. Alex Cobb. I mean, this guy, he hung a couple of splits, but he outpitched the guy with the lowest ERA in the American League, and Sonny Gray pitched longer than he did. Michael Conforto, the big home run in the top of the 7th. Give this guy a minute, okay? Everybody's crushing him. When you miss a year or 18 months or whatever he missed of baseball, it's not like you just jump into this game and jump on the freeway in a Prius and go 90 miles an hour in the fast lane. It takes a while to build up. It takes a while to get your legs under you. It takes a while where, it's your right arm and you're a left-handed hitter and you're finishing high with that right arm to figure that out and to feel healthy, to feel comfortable with your new team. When you're with a ball club for so long, you go to a new ball club, it takes a minute to try to get settled in. So all of a sudden you see Michael Conforto with another home run. He had a double tonight. He's absolutely raking like we knew he would. I said he was going to be your favorite player by the end of the year, and I'm sticking to that. He's going to be your favorite player by the end of the year. Average up to 219. He was 2 for 5 tonight. He drove in a couple with that big 2-run home run. They were down 3-2. It made it 4-3. Mike Yastrzemski 1 for 2 tonight. He broke up an 0 for 19. Ding dong, the streak is dead. Good job, Yaz. Lots of things to talk about tonight. I'm going to go on a limb with a couple of things here. This might be another eye roll moment. So 808 KNBR is the number. I think Brett Wisely is going to be the best major leaguer of all these guys when it's all said and done. In about a year and a half, 2 years. I just love the way he plays second base. No one's talking about him at shortstop, by the way, as the heir apparent. But this guy can freaking play. I love everything about his game. His average is 172 right now, and you're probably like, did you drink before the show? I didn't. He barrels up baseballs. He has hard contact a lot, and it's right at people. He's hit into some bad luck since he got called up. He's never looked overwhelmed at the plate to me. He's never looked overmatched at the plate to me. And defensively, I mean, dare I say, Robbie Thompson-like at second base? Like this guy can play. He's an all-around good player. He can run the bases. He's got speed. He's got power. He's a good he's a plus defender, not Casey Schmidt style, but who is Casey Schmidt style defensive? And the Giants won without Casey Schmidt, by the way. That's pretty cool. So when you talk about Alex Cobb tonight, hanging a couple of splits and getting a feel for that, to me, I mean, have you guys ever put a baseball between your index finger and your middle finger and tried to stretch it out? It feels like crap. Like it hurts. So imagine taking a baseball and throwing it as hard as you can when it's just split between those two fingers, then trying to make it go down and you're throwing it at 90 miles an hour. So a couple of times a game that's going to squirt out, right? And he hung a couple tonight. But here's the thing, 12-year veteran. The fact that he has played so much and pitched so much, he doesn't panic. Like, he shows emotion, and I love when he gets the ass on the mound a lot, but he doesn't panic in the heat of battle. So this is a guy that just makes adjustments on the fly. Difference between a young pitcher and an old pitcher. Young pitcher gives up a couple of home runs, rattled. I'm going to throw harder. There goes another one. I'm going to walk a guy. I'm scared to get back in the strike zone. And next thing you know, it's 5 runs, 6 runs. I don't know what Kyle Harrison's makeup is like, but, as a young guy, you come up here, you give up home runs. Maybe you don't know how to make those adjustments on the fly because the game goes so fast. We sit in the stands and it's just a nice sunny day at Oracle. We're watching the game and we're on our phones because we can be with the net and the screens up now. And we're talking to our friends and we're enjoying the baseball game. If you're out there in the heat of battle, it looks so easy from where we're sitting. Trust me, I sit in the stands more than I sit in a press box. It's like, this game looks easy from here. And all of a sudden you get in that batter's box, or you get on that mound and things are going like boom, 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 boom. And the guys that can slow things down in the heat of battle are the guys that are usually successful. So you take all the adrenaline out of it, or you harness that adrenaline to work for you. And it's really cool to see a veteran like Alex. Alex is one of my favorites. I'm going to say I'm not supposed to have favorites. I broadcast some games, whatever. I got to know him over the winter. I did a bunch of Fan Fest stuff with him and immediately was digging the guy and his vibe and all he's about. And he's a gamer. And we watch him pitch, but I think baseball could do such a better job at allowing us in to know these players. Like, mic them up. Hey, mic up Alex Cobb for batting practice on a day he's not pitching. Like, this guy's hilarious. He gets it. He's a gamer. He understands the game of baseball. He's kind of in this whole transitionary phase from old school to new school. From, he was with Tampa with the analytics and then with the Angels. And so he's kind of right in the middle of the tides changing, right? So he's seen it all. And to get to talk to him this winter, and I've talked to him on the road a couple of times, just briefly in the dugout, maybe getting coffee at the coffee shop before the game. Just a wonderful human being. And it's, I think fans in all regions, with all teams, should be able to know their players more. Like, you hear a snippet here. We'll hear some sound probably from Alex after the game tonight. We'll hear some sound from Gabe after the game tonight. We'll hear all this stuff, and you'll be like, okay, well, that's sound, right? But, like, not to get too deep tonight, but you guys know I like to get deep. But the whole Michael Block thing with the PGA Championship this weekend, we crave to know our athletes. We crave authenticity. We crave organic and pure. When they're standing for their life, like Michael Conforto's talking right now in his locker in a hoodie after the game. He's going to say, yeah, I'm feeling good right now. My legs are underneath me. I'm seeing the ball pretty big. And I'm letting the ball travel. I'm trying to go the other way, and sometimes I catch it out front, but everything's kind of clicked for me when I'm letting the ball get deep. I guarantee you that's what he's saying. But we'll play that sound for you when we get it. But that doesn't let us into the person. There's so many good dudes on this team that we just don't really get a chance to know. And I know there's Giants YouTube, and they do a fine job of kind of following these guys around a day in the life. But even with that, do they really let their hair down and let you in to let you know? In of all the sports, and I don't care if this is going to rattle some cages, baseball players are the funniest dudes on the planet because we have so much downtime. We have so much time to kill, so to speak. So we're in the dugout. I mean, Dwayne Kuiper and Mike Krukow used to broadcast games into a bat at the end of the dugout when they were Giants. We used to do stuff like that all the time. Like, I'm not saying we're all hilarious, but we have to. When you fail 7 out of 10 times at your job, and you get paid a lot of money to fail 7 out of 10 times, that drives you nuts, man. So how do you combat that? You combat that by humor. Like, you got to keep it light. You got to rag on each other. You got to be funny. You got to give each other zingers. And then, you find something from one teammate, you take it to another team. Half the jokes I say on the air, you guys are recycled. They're all from my old teammates in the back of a plane, back of the bus. And then you say them on the air, and people are like, "Oh my God, you're funny." No, these aren't original. Some of them are. Some of them I think on the fly when I have too much coffee. But like, just getting back to Alex, like, wonderful human being. And I mean, raise your hand if you're a Giants fan and you know that Alex Cobb is a great dude. Probably not. You just think he's a competitor. He's a good pitcher. He's arguably an all-star for these guys. What's his numbers right now? Let me scroll down here. He's 4-1 with a 2.17. I mean, he's heading to the All-Star game in Seattle. There's 3 guys for me, and we'll get into that in a minute. And maybe I'll ask you guys what you think. But I think the Giants have 3 legitimate All-Stars. So I wish there was a way. I mean, I've had Alex in the bunker. You guys heard him a little bit unplugged that night. He was juiced after his complete game, only the second one in his career, the first one since 2012. You heard Casey Schmidt in the bunker after a game when he had his first big league home run, which was his first hit. So, I mean, sometimes you get the real dude, right? And I take pride as a former dude that played to get that out of them, where they can let their hair down around athlete to athlete kind of talk. Like, they forget they're on the air. That's my biggest pride and my biggest goal as a broadcaster, is to get those guys to have faith in me that I've been there, done it, and they can talk to me the same way. So I don't know if there's a way to do a whole show with one of those guys and just get them on here for 3 hours. And I think some of them would do it, because you start getting to the end, you think about your career after baseball. Like, am I going to be a broadcaster? Am I going to be a coach? Am I going to golf? Am I going to buy an island? Like, what am I doing here? How much money did I make? So I wanted to tip of the cap to Alex Cobb. He had a tough one last time. He came back. He fought. He battled. He scrapped. He clawed tonight. That was a character win for him. Anybody go out there with your A stuff and throw a complete game, those are the easy ones. If I'm a scout and I'm going to see a kid play, I want to see the kid that's a highly touted prospect fail. If I'm a scout and I know it's, say, a number 1 pick in the draft, when I go to the game, I want to see him go 0 for 4, because I want to see how he deals with failure. Anybody can go to the game and watch a kid that's supposed to be a first-round draft pick hit 3 home runs. Oh, yeah. Look at Jacob. Yeah, we're going to draft him first. He's our first pick. I want to see what Jacob does when he goes 0 for 4. Is he throwing helmets? Is he talking to his teammates? Does he have a smile on his face because his team is winning? Or if his team is winning, he goes 0 for 4. Is he pouting in the dugout? Like, I want to find out about the makeup of the person. Like, if I'm going to spend a lot of money on a kid, I'm going to draft the kid first. I want to find out about his makeup, not just talking to his coaches. They're going to blow smoke up your ass. He's the greatest kid ever. You could date my daughter. Okay. Talk to his teachers. Oh, he's the best. Talk to his teammates. Oh, we love him. No, I want to see him fail. And that's when you find out the true person through adversity. And I think with Alex Cobb, he's guy's just been there, done that. He's done everything. He's so just like whatever, but he's competing. I mean, Alex Wood competes. Logan Webb competes. Anthony DeSclafani competes. So whatever you think about this team or whatever you thought about this team, I've never jumped off this bandwagon. And when you talk about the Padres spent $8 gazillion this offseason, $8 gazillion. You've heard my joke a number of times. El Chapo owns the Padres. It's the Mexican cartel. How are they getting all this money? The Giants are in front of the Padres. Giants have a better record than the Padres. You can't win a pennant in January or December. You can't. It looks great. Your fan base gets excited, but it's about performing. It's about going out there and getting the job done. And right now I'm liking what I'm seeing from this ball club. It has a different feel to it. It has a different vibe to it. And I know you guys are feeling the same thing. I see on Twitter, which is the most negative form of social media there is, and Giants fans are excited all of a sudden. Giants fans are excited about Casey Schmidt, about Blake Sable, about Patrick Bailey. Patrick Bailey, by the way. I'm going to do a whole segment on Patrick Bailey tonight. He is your Giants catcher. Period. Trust me. Like what I'm seeing back there right now, that guy looks like, and I said this on the show with Papa the other day, he looks like Kurt Manwaring. He looks like he's been catching for 10 years behind the plate. The way he sets up on a knee, the target he gives, the framing ability back there. That's everything, man. You can hit a $180, drive in a few big runs here and there, and catch the hell out of it, and you're the guy. I mean, I don't know what Joey Bart's feeling. I don't know about his health. I know that you could argue that Patrick Bailey's done more in his little stint than Joey did all year. And I'm a Joey fan. I am. But it's baseball Darwinism, man. It's survival of the fittest. You get your day in the sun, you got to shine. 808 KNBR is the number if you guys want to chime in on the game tonight. Going to take a quick break. We're streaming on KNBR, the all-new KNBR app, YouTube, Twitch, all kinds of stuff. You can watch me on TV if you'd like, if that floats your boat. I'm not going to change clothes like Greg Papa does every segment. I don't have that kind of energy. But I do want to talk some Giants baseball. We're getting into some Niners stuff and Brock Purdy later on. The Warriors and maybe LeBron James. I saw that today somewhere. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. You're listening to FP Santangelo. This is KNBR Tonight. The Giants win 4-3. They've won 7 of the last 8, and they're back to 500. Your call's next on the Sports Leader.
1-1 pitch. Swing. There's a high drive into left center field. Going back, Castro at the warning track at the wall. He leaps and it's gone. A home run for Michael Conforto. He made the leap, and we couldn't tell if he had it in the glove or not. And then we saw the umpire, who was wondering himself, I think, who then signaled home run. The Giants have gone ahead.
See, that's the kind of music that gets me going, dude. It's like a cup of coffee. Back in the day, greenies. If you ever tried them, if you ever dabbled in those, sometimes unknowingly, there was a leaded pot and an unleaded pot. Sometimes you got the leaded pot and stared at the ceiling all night and couldn't sleep. 808 KNBR is the number. Giants win 4-3. Michael Conforto's raking his 10th home run of the year, a 2-run homer in the 7th. Giants were down 3-2, put them ahead 4-3. The bullpen has been bueno. I saw some stat where their ERA's in the low ones over the last however many games. I'll get that up for you in a second. And on John's call right there, he had to pause. That ball was right at the wall. Whoever the outfielder was jumped. It looked like he kind of caught it, but it barely snuck over his glove. Then as a broadcaster, you have to wait for the umpire to do the whirly bird home run call. I mean, that sounded like me doing a ground ball to third, trying to figure out who the third baseman is. Ground ball to third. Jacob picks it up, throws it to first, and that's the third out of the inning. I've done that a few times. Trust me. Now I have this like heads up, like little cheat sheet that shows the defense. Like really, I put it on my binoculars, and it's got the defenders there. So I just peek real quick because that part's hard. Oh, that's why there's not too many former players as play-by-play guys. Let's go to the phones. Carl in Santa Rosa has been waiting a minute. Carl, you're our leadoff hitter tonight. What's going on, man? How you feeling?
Feeling good. I mean, I caught up a couple weeks ago, and Giants couldn't do no hitting. They were getting blown out. It looked like a bad team. And then you said you got to give it about 40, 50 games to see what you got. And this is where we're at. And you have, with all these announcers getting fired, Kuiper and Oakland, you make one mistake and you're out of a job.
I mean, that's the society we live in today, bro. I got to sit here and I got to measure my words carefully, idiot. I'm just kidding, Carl. I love when you call, Carl. You always have good takes, and I appreciate you calling. I told you be patient with these guys, right? Be patient with this ball club, and now they have some youth. They got Casey Schmidt that's injected life in this team, and I want to talk about Patrick Bailey for a minute. Like, this guy absolutely gets it. He's a good catcher.
Yeah, and then I know you had a night off close out and when you went out, did you make it to first base? And I'll let you go. Thanks a lot.
Oh no, I was doing the day shows, man. Oh, you mean that I had the nights off? Yeah, yeah. That's a personal question, Carl. I don't have to answer that. Did I get to first base? Come on, who you dealing with here? 808 KNBR is the number. We're streaming on the all new KNBR app, YouTube, Twitch. You can find us anywhere. Let me go to the text lines. What's up with the picture of Aaron Rodgers? I don't know. We're streaming now, and this place looks. My college dorm looked better than this. We have like things pinned to the wall, and pictures of Aaron Rodgers and Tom Tolbert, and a Draymond. What is that? What big head? Yeah, this looks great. Looks awesome. I think we need to. Can we get Chip and Joanna Gaines in here to redecorate maybe a little bit? This is the freaking sports leader, and it looks like the Wayne's World basement right now. I think Wayne's World basement looked better than this does. Let's go to the text lines. What's up with the picture of Aaron Rodgers? Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a morning show thing. Those guys are great. Tune into Paulie Mack and Murph every morning from 6 to 10 a.m. They're the best in the business. It's the best morning show going. And then Papa and Lund from 10 to 2, Tolbert and Copes from 2 to 6, and then the dummy from 6 to 10 p.m. You can listen to this crap all you want. Yeah, I don't know what's up with the picture of Aaron Rodgers. Obviously a morning show thing. Santangelo, I have a quick question. You've called Major League Baseball games in the booth. How do you know what pitch they just threw? Duck Shack Jimbo, thanks for calling, bro. Thanks for texting, bro. There's a big scoreboard that shows it now. Or if you're watching the broadcast, there's where the score is, that's called the bug. It's got the 3-2 Giants, and the speed will pop up right there. Or sometimes in the strike zone, the speed will pop up. You know the guy's arsenal by what he throws. So if it's in the 90s, it's a fastball. If it's in the 80s, it's a slider. If it's in the low 80s, it's probably a changeup. So you kind of know the guy's arsenal you're anticipating. And I spent a long time trying to decipher what the guy was throwing to me. So it's something that I kind of know, but doing the play-by-play, though, Jimbo, like I look up at the scoreboard after every pitch. 1-0 pitch, that's low for a ball. I look up at the scoreboard, that was a changeup. Because, I don't know, when you're watching live and you don't peek at the monitor, sometimes it's tough to tell. But that's a really good question. I appreciate that. Some lady painted it for Murph, the 415 is checking. Okay, all right. Well, whoever did that is unbelievable talent. I just don't know why we have Aaron Rodgers in here. Because he went to Cal? Is that why? Murph went to UCLA. I don't understand that one. Let me see. FP, I love your style. I can relate to your announcing stories. I announced for the San Jose Giants, and my first home run call was a mess. Keep up the good work the night off. Thanks, dude. Yeah, it's not easy. I'm leaving tomorrow morning. I have the 6 a.m. car to the airport, and I'm going to Milwaukee to do 4 games there. So everybody say a quick prayer for me that I remember the outs and the score. I don't even know what's going on in the game. I just want to remember that the count, the outs, and the score, and then figure out what's going on in the game. Let's go to Mike and Eugene. Mike, you're on the Sports Leader. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, FP, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing fantastic.
Yeah, I know you are, man. You're always doing fantastic. You got the life, dude. I want it. Give me it.
Yeah, I'm super blessed, dude. What do you got for me tonight?
Hey, I'll tell you what, man. You know, you're talking about I'm anxious for your play-by-play. So did you come up with a home run call? I know that when you were back in Miami, you were asking, for somebody to give you some home run call. Did anybody ever give you one?
No, I don't. I just try. I want to get it right. Is what I'm working on right now.
I think I got one for you. I think I got one.
Let me hear it.
Okay, now if I whiff, can I have a mulligan?
Yeah. I'm not gonna get on you, Mike. Whatever you say.
Okay.
I'm not gonna do it per se, but I want to hear it.
No, I know I didn't say. I just want to give it a shot. Okay, so here we go. All right. Conforto got a hold of it to left field. It's gone. You can wrap it up. We'll take it. Home run.
Wait, well, who sang that song? Wrap it up. We'll take it.
Whatchamacallit? The Fabulous Thunderbirds. I botched it, but wrap it up. We'll take it. It's gone. Home run. I like it. The Fabulous Thunderbirds. So yeah. It's a little jazzy instead of it's just gone, man. It's out of here.
Yeah, I think I got to.
Regardless with Conforto, man.
I got to get it right first, dude, before I worry about being flashy. But I'm going to let it rip this weekend. Watch for I don't care FP. That's the best
fun,
FP.
Dude. You're having fun because we're winning, man, and now we're going for a sweep. We got it together. You're right about Bailey behind the plate. It calms it down. Cobb was outstanding. The dude is just, like you said, he's a professional. My 3 MVPs, like you said, with pitching, it's him, Descalfani, and it's got to be Cardiac Camilo. It's Camilo, that's it, man. Those 3.
Who'd you say again, Mike? I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, you never.
You said Camilo, Cobb, and Tyro.
No, I didn't say Tyro. I said Cardiac Camino.
All right. Well, yeah, I absolutely. I mean, here's the thing. I got 3 All-Stars on this team, and those are the ones. It's Cobb, it's Camilo, and it's Tyro. Those guys are going to be playing in Seattle in July, in mid-July.
Yeah, I agree. So we got to get going, and we just got it. Casey's pushing at the bat, but I think he'll get it. You said it's going to happen, and it's happening now. And Patrick's doing well, man. Got a good hit today. I was just disappointed they couldn't get more runs at the base load, but it don't matter. We got to run, and it's on the road and against one of the best pitchers in the American League. It's just phenomenal what they're doing right now. They're playing as a team. It's great. It's gelling.
It's the kids, man. I'm telling you, it's the hum babies. They've injected life into this ball club. And I've said this a number of times, so if you've heard this before, excuse me for repeating myself. But when a young player walks in the clubhouse, you start to see the game differently. You see it how you did when you got called up. And it just refreshes you, and it makes you look at the game vicariously through these guys' eyes. And I've been there and done that, where it's kind of becoming, as cool as it is, as great as it is to be a big leaguer, it's to be a business sometimes. You're talking to your agent too much, and Scott Boras is there, and this, and contracts, and endorsements, and it becomes like a TV show, and then what house are we buying next, and what car are we driving? And I get there at the same time every day, and I do get my treatment. I go to the cage, I lift weights, I take BP, I eat, I put my uniform on, I stretch at this time, and let's win, let's compete. And then if we lose, have a beer and do it all over again. And all of a sudden this kid comes in, he's bouncing around the clubhouse. Another kid comes in, he's bouncing around the clubhouse. And all of a sudden you get that energy and you get that life, and it sparks a ball club, man, especially when they go out and perform. I think that's the biggest thing here, that they have to go out and perform. If they come up and they're just dorks in the clubhouse, so what? But when they're dorks in the clubhouse and they go out and drop 3-spot on you, 3 hits, and you're winning games, and they're one of the reasons why you're winning games, man, that injects energy into a club big time.
Oh, no, and they're doing it all, though. And what's his name? Johnson. What poise he had today, too. I mean, he's doing well. They're all doing well, and they're feeding off of each other. And you're right, it does it to the ball club. And the fans are jacked up. I can't wait to get that. I'm jacked up, dude. I'm jacked up anyway. But it's just a great thing, and it's great to have the fever and hum babies. And how about these kids just back in '89?
Hum babies, they're awesome, yeah. Mike, I got lots of calls, buddy. I got to get to them right now. Thanks for calling, dude. I appreciate it.
All right.
Have a good night. That's Mike and Eugene. He's one of the stars of this show. It's our little reality show that we do here every night. We could probably do a reality show, by the way, on a night. And we could call it, let me think, WKRP in Cincinnati. Is that a good idea? I just came to mind. I don't know. Just do a reality show. Half the people listen. Jacob doesn't even know what I just said. WKRP. Where did he come up with this? It used to be a show in the 70s and 80s. Let me go to the text line. I see you guys waiting on hold. I'm getting to all the calls. Hold on. I want to get to some text messages. Santangelo flies first class and gets to hang in the airport VIP lounges, unlike the rest of us blue-collar slugs that probably fly Frontier Spirit. I do. I flew back of the airplane middle on all the Nationals playoff runs, and not on the team charter. They kicked us off the charter. But sometimes you do fly first class, and I have more home runs than you, so why not? I mean, how many home runs did you hit? I'm kidding. I get weirded out in country clubs in first class, fancy bars, I like fancy restaurants. I do have that bougie side of me. I'm a foodie. But like if I go to these like exclusive social clubs in the city, I get weirded out. If I go to like a fancy country club, I get weird. I'm a corner of the hole in the wall bar guy. Sit at the end of the bar. Let's talk some sports. The bougie stuff is fun every once in a blue moon, but it's not my jam, dude. You guys have listened to me long enough. You know that. Let me see. Let me go to some text lines. There was a good one here about Bailey and Bart. Where's that one? Oh, yeah, the 707 chiming in. Hey, FP, do you think there's enough at-bats for Bailey and Bart when he's back from the IL? Whew. I don't know, man. You get your day in the sun, you got to shine. Joey Bart's gotten a lot of opportunities, hasn't he? As much as I like Joey Bart a lot as a person, he's got a lot of leash, hasn't he? And it just hasn't really clicked all over the place. I don't want to draw comparisons to first-round pick Joey Bart and first-round pick Trey Lance. Or, yeah, Patrick Bailey's a first-round pick, too, so you can't really go down that road. But Patrick Bailey's taken advantage of this opportunity, hasn't he? And if you watch the subtleties of him catching 101 by Camilo Duvall tonight and just going poof, poof, and framing it, poof, he got about 6 or 7 strikes tonight for Alex Cobb. I don't know if it exactly sounded like that, but he did. And he just sets up nice back there on the one knee. He's got confidence. He's got relaxation. I don't know, man. I'm a big Patrick Bailey fan, and I didn't know a whole lot about him. I saw him catch like 2 spring training games. I'm like, oh, he's good. I don't know. He's a first-round pick. I don't know. And now all of a sudden I'm like, oh, okay. I'm digging what I'm seeing. And right now, you know who the biggest judge is? It's not Dork on the radio at night. It's not you guys calling in. It's not the fans in the stands. It's not even the general manager or the manager. It's the pitchers. It's the veteran pitchers. And they don't make a big scene of it. It's not like I want to throw to Patrick Bailey, but hey, if you slide into Gabe's office or you're walking on the grass with bare feet with Andrew Bailey, the pitching coach, you might just mention in conversation like, hey, I really like the way Bailey called the game last night. He got me like 5 or 6 calls. Those guys know that. But now when you start hearing it from pitchers and you start hearing, I really like throwing to him. And there's a professional way of doing it without like going in and throwing a tantrum and throwing your glove and saying, I want Patrick Bailey as my catcher. But as the confidence grows, the beers at the hotel bar or the beers in the back of the plane and you're talking to your bros and you're like, dude, like I was thinking this pitch here and he called this pitch and it worked. Did you see that sinker right there at the bottom of the zone? He just pulled it up subtly and got me the strike 3. Dude, this guy knows what he's doing. And then that starts happening. And that's a positive thing. Trust me. It's not against anybody. It's pitchers having confidence in the receiver and wanting to throw to that receiver. And that makes them relax. And they don't have to think or grind or be pissed because they pulled a pitch out of the zone or didn't block a pitch or the pitch went to the backstop. All these extra things adding to a pitcher's thought process and adrenaline during the game that are negative, take away from like, I need 1,000% commitment to this 2-1 pitch to a guy that can hit it 800 feet. I can't be thinking about, damn it, that was a strike and it just went to the backstop and now the runner's just advanced 90 feet and now I got to do this and do this. That just adds to all the stress and the tension out there. If you got a guy that's just back there in the squat, boop, 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 and I don't have to think about all that extra stuff, like that's the big leagues. That's how it's supposed to be. And that's how guys stay in the league and they're career 220 hitters, but they can catch the hell out of it. They can frame the hell out of it. They steal you strikes. Kurt Suzuki played forever. And he's one of the best I ever saw at blocking baseballs and framing strikes and calling a game. He couldn't throw out the trash at the end of his career. He literally couldn't get it to second in the air. Like he couldn't. His arm was shot. But he was still one of the best catchers I ever saw with 0 arm at the end. He had a good arm for a while. But it just was like all discombobulated at the end of his career. But all the pitchers wanted to throw to Kurt Suzuki. They all loved Kurt Suzuki. They knew he was going to call the right pitch in the right spot in the right situation. And with the bases loaded, 3-2, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th, a borderline pitch he was going to make look like a strike, and the game would be over. And I think that's what, if you talk to Giants pitchers off the record, they might tell you stuff like that. But that's getting back to like, that's kind of classified information. Tons of text messages rolling in. You guys are awesome tonight. This is fantastic. I hear you like Girl Scout cookies as a post-game snack. I work for Girl Scouts. I can send you a couple of boxes. 916. All right. Yeah, I'm in. Lucille, the Clark Kent version of Lucille, who I know very well. I bought some Girl Scout cookies from Lucille's daughter, little baby seal, little fur seal. And she's a Girl Scout. She's the cutest, by the way. You ever those kids come up to you and you're like, damn it, I don't want these cookies. I don't eat these cookies. But if I don't buy them, I'm the biggest jerk on the planet. So yeah, I'll take 5 boxes when I don't want one because you're just being a nice guy and they're so cute. It's like Cindy Lou Who comes up to you and just like, you want to buy some Girl Scout cookies? Like, how can you say no? Yes, it's a racket. That's how they get you. That's how they get you. They teach them that in Girl Scouts. It's not how to like light fires and make tents and survival skills. It's about selling cookies. Like, okay, we're all glad you're here the first day of Girl Scouts. Our first lesson today is to look cute and sell cookies. And they got it nailed because dude, I don't even like them. They're stale. They're not even good. Does anybody out there love Girl Scout cookies? No. I wanted like a warm cookie, like out of the oven that's kind of gooey and doughy where the chocolate chips melt. And maybe you throw in a couple macadamia nuts in there. But then you have these tired Girl Scout cookies that they were made in 2010 and you buy them in 2023 and you take one bite and they're all over your shirt because they're stale. But they're Girl Scout cookies and you line up to get them. It's such a racket. Such a racket. They probably make $2.7 billion a year on Girl Scout cookie sales. And then they spend probably half of that on teaching them the skills for it. Like $1 billion. All right. First thing we're going to learn. We'll get to the whole making a fire thing and you're stranded in the mountains and all that. We'll get to that like next week. First week is how to sell cookies. And they nail it every time. Let's go to who's been waiting the longest. Yeah, Phil and Loomis. Phil, man, I've been leaving you there too long. Phil, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, FP? How you doing, man?
Good. Just talking about Girl Scout cookies and the Giants postgame show. No big deal.
Yeah, Girl Scout cookies, whatever. Giants baseball. Hey, dude, you're stealing. I know you wanted to talk about Patrick Bailey today, and you're stealing some of my points I wanted to hit on, and I definitely really want to take your take. I mean, I think that watching tonight's game, one of the things that I noticed is obviously you were talking about how Bailey's just painting that 101 with Camilo, dude. And it's just, I mean, Camilo looked calm. And we all know as Giants fans, I mean, it's been frustrating to watch him at sometimes in the ninth inning with the timing, watching that pitch clock. And I kind of thought that was on Camilo, but I mean, a lot of times that's, Bart catching him. And I know it's not Bart catching him every single time, but I think that what tonight showed me is Bailey's that leader behind the plate they need. I mean, we all know we were spoiled with Posey, and he carried that staff. And then 20 came, COVID year. Posey was out. What were the Giants? They showed flashes of, some good playing, but ultimately they were under a 500 team. Posey comes back 21. We don't need to talk about that. We all know what 107 ended with. And then, he leaves last year. And I think that there's just that uncertainty. So, I don't know. I'd like to get your take. I think Bailey is just he looks like the real deal. Obviously, it's early on, but I don't know what's going to be for Bart. I think we got to give Bailey this shot right now and see what he can do. It brings me back to when Posey came up as a rookie. Wasn't it? I think it was probably in June when they played in Milwaukee, and I know we got a series coming up in Milwaukee right now where Posey just went off. And it was, I know all Giants fans said this is the future right here. So I don't know. Maybe I'm foreshadowing, but who knows? Maybe Bailey goes off in Milwaukee, hits some deep to center field like Posey did back when he was a rookie. I don't know. I'd like to hear your take though. I mean, between the Bailey and Bart gig, because I don't know if there's a room for Bart, but I don't know what we do with him right now at this point, honestly.
If I say Bailey's cream that one, is that okay for a home run? Bailey's and cream? I mean, I will see. Yeah. Hey, it's all about winning and losing. Sorry, I locked up there for a second. It's all about winning and losing. So they've won 7 of 8. That's all we need to know right now. Not that it's all on the catcher. It's not like a goalie in hockey where you keep records for the catcher. But if you got a guy in there and things are going well, and not that anybody can get Wally pipped, but you can get Wally pipped, and all of a sudden this guy's got the vibe and he's got the energy and he's catching and we're winning. And then, Joey Bart's not going to be shelved completely. He's going to get his shots. But right now, I mean, he's going to have to step up when he comes back. That's all I got to say. Like when he comes back, this could elevate his game. And if it doesn't elevate his game, he's in trouble based on what we've seen. And no knock on Joey Bart. I'm not saying I love the kid, man, and I've been rooting for him. But this is baseball Darwinism. It's survival of the fittest. You get your day in the sun, you got to shine. I've been saying that a million times. You get your chance, giddy up. And it doesn't matter how you get your chance. If it's by need and somebody's hurt and you get up, you get your foot in the door, you just bust that door open. If you get called up because you're balling out in AAA, you get that chance, you get your foot in the door. Casey Schmidt did that. So is doing that, I should say. This isn't a finished product. Casey Schmidt's going to have to learn the strike zone a little bit more if he wants to hit 300 at this level. But all that said, what we're seeing from Patrick Bailey right now, he's riding winners. He's riding a winner. It's like a jockey in a horse race. If you're the catcher, you're the jockey. You want to ride winners. And if you can ride winners consistently, the job is yours. End of story, period. I don't care what's Patrick Bailey hitting. I don't even look at his average. I don't care. He's hitting 231. He's going 1 for 3, drove in a run tonight. First left-handed hit for the left side of the plate. I don't care what if Patrick Bailey hits 231 all year, runs into a few homers, and catches the hell out of it, he's your guy. Because you're winning. You don't change anything if you're winning.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. He brings that calmness to the pitching staff. And again, him and Camilo looked like they were making sweet, sweet music tonight.
They were playing catch, and that was cool. Camilo Duvall maybe had his best outing of the year, 101 mile-an-hour fastballs. Yeah, half of the reason that I think Gabe Kapler uses Just for Men is because of Camilo Duvall and the gray in his beard. I really do. I think he's a stressful save, man. But all the elite closers, those guys are Ferraris, man. They're all stressful saves. They are. They go out there and, if something's a little bit off, it's like, and the Ferraris, you got to take it in. It costs a lot of money. And those guys are Ferraris when they get on the mound. And Camilo's an adventure. He is. But every great closer, maybe minus Mariano Rivera, was an adventure when they go out there. It's kind of, they have adrenaline. This isn't enough. Let's make it interesting. Now I turn the adrenaline up to a 9.5 when it was at an 8.5, and I get out of it. And that's what Camilo does. I love the guy. I think he's an all-star.
I agree. He's one of my favorite players to watch on the team, and he's just a badass, man. You see him. You always see those other closers on other teams when they're getting in those triple digits. You're like, damn, I want one of those. And we got one of those. And he's not only hitting those triple digits, he's just filthy nasty.
He's dirty and rotten too. All right, Phil, thanks. I appreciate the call, dude. Good stuff. See, everybody on hold, stay right there. I see all the text messages I haven't got to on the text line. I'm going to get to all those. 808 KNBR, Giants win 4-3. They've taken the first 2 games in Minnesota. Day game tomorrow, sweep. Good teams win series. Great teams sweep. We'll see what they do. They're back to 500. They've won 7 of their last 8. 808 KNBR, we're streaming on all kinds of streaming thingies, and I'll take your calls next on the Sports Leader.
Oh, 2 pitch. Strike 3 called. Outside corner at the knees with a sinker. Inning over. Shutdown inning.
I think that the first 4 or 5 were more difficult than the last 2. Kind of felt something in my delivery the last couple innings that made my pitches a little bit crisper. But yeah, the first 5 were trying to get some of the shapes that I was looking for dialed in, and you battle through those, and then when your delivery's right, it seems like things just go right for you. Balls find people even when they do hit the ball well, and when you're fighting your delivery, balls find holes, and
This is Alex Cobb after he goes to 4-1 with a 2.17 ERA. He went 7 innings tonight, gave up 3 runs on 6 hits. He struck out 8, he walked 1, he threw 95 pitches, 64 of those for strikes. And Anthony DeSclafani goes for the series sweep. Tomorrow, day game. I think it starts right here on KNBR at 10 o'clock, pregame probably at 9, if I'm thinking right. So 808 KNBR is the number if you want to chime in on the Giants. So many text messages. I'm going to get to all of these. But let me talk about what Alex Cobb just said real quick. He talked about shaping pitches. Matt Wieters, I talked to him, he's a former catcher. He was a really good catcher for a long time in the big leagues. He talked about shaping pitches. And pitchers, I don't think really pick up the glove anymore. They just kind of see the pitch in their mind's eye, and they know where to release it, and they know where to start it, and maybe they pick out the pitcher's hip and they throw it right at that and then let it break back. Or they'll pick up maybe the catcher's mask and start it over the middle and run it off the plate. Sometimes they'll pick up a piece of the umpire. So it's not, the glove target is kind of outdated in baseball. And shaping a pitch is getting that feel for that pitch, almost like, and this is what Matt Wieters explained to me, like when you bowl and you throw that big hook, and when it spins and it's going down the lane, it finally catches toward the gutter and comes back to the head pin. So when that slider is going to catch and then have the break to it. And that's shaping the pitch. Just like when you're bowling, you pick that, like the arrow, what is it, like the second one from the middle. You start your hook or whatever you call it in bowling. It goes halfway down and it's spinning sideways. The ball catches and comes back to the head pin. That's shaping your pitch. When the off-speed pitch catches. If it's a 12-6 curveball, 12-6 on the clock. When it gets to the apex, the 12, where does it catch? Does it catch early and go in the dirt? Does it catch at the right time and drop in the strike zone? And these guys master that. And they have a feel for it, just like bowlers have a feel for it. So him shaping his pitches tonight, he was off with he hung a couple of splits, like I started the show with. Sometimes if you ever jammed a baseball between your fingers, it hurts like hell. It does. I don't know how guys throw a split. They must have huge hands. A couple of those squirt out. They go for home runs, and you're like, damn it. But Alex Cobb, being the veteran he is, didn't panic, made adjustments in the game, gritted out 7 innings, and got the win tonight. That's what competing is about. What Alex Cobb did tonight is what competition is all about. And if you talk to Alex Wood, he wants to do that. He wants to have that opportunity to go 7 innings to compete. He keeps getting taken out of the game around 4 2/3 because third time through, the numbers don't say that he should be in. But that's what these guys live for, competing. And I've said this a million times. My Max Scherzer games that I called when he didn't have his A stuff were my favorite games. Because when he's got his A stuff and he's striking out 15 or 16 and it's a no-hitter or a perfect game or a one-hit shutout, as an analyst, you just sit back and you're like, this guy's so damn good, and you become a fan up there. There's nothing to say. Like, what are you going to say on Matt Cain's perfect game? There's not a lot to analyze there. But when Max had his B and C stuff and he was searching for his release point, he was searching for the shape of his slider or his curveball, searching for the release point on his changeup, and he was battling and grinding and clawing and fighting, and maybe he gave up 4 runs and won and gave up 7 hits and went 8 innings. Those are the games you love, man. Those are the games where those are character games. Those are when you find out who you got as a pitcher. Because I've seen a lot of guys throw in the towel, man. It's not my night. I gave up a few home runs, and my split's not working, and damn it, get somebody else in there. They'll never say that, but the body language indicates that. I've seen a lot of pitchers who I'm not going to name on this show throw in the towel. I've played behind a few that did. I've seen a lot on TV that have. And you can just tell. And you guys can tell as fans, you're not dumb. You can see when a guy's just like, oh, nothing's going my way. This isn't my day-to-day. And it's body language, right? He's not actually saying that, but his body language is indicating that. And if you can see that, and I can see that, if I'm standing in the batter's box, I damn well can see that. And if I can get any edge on a pitcher, if you just look scared, I got you. If you look defeated, I got you. I remember, I'm trying to think of the guy. I gave up an RBI single to me at Coors Field. He wasn't in the league long, and he had to back up home. And he was backing up home because I hit it between first and second. So he was going to cover first, and then he had to peel back and back up home. So we kind of almost crossed paths down the first baseline. And he was like, dang it, as I ran by him. I'm like, dang it. I'm like, this guy can't even drop an F-bomb. He's dropping dang it's out here. Oh, this guy sucks. Like, I'm going to get 3 hits off him. Dang it. Like, dang it. I mean, drop an F-bomb, throw the rosin down. Like, then I'll be like, ooh, this guy's got a little fire. But he dropped a dang it. Oh, man. I was like, I got you, bro. Like, please, I can't wait to get up again because I got you. And I hit a home run off him the next time up. I did. Dang it. And I said, dang it, when I got to, I did. But you guys know what I'm saying, right? But body language. I mean, when surgeons walk through the door for heart surgery, they scrub up, they put their gowns on, they walk through the door, and they get big. They get big. That's their game. And you can tell, I want my surgeon to drive a Porsche. I want to walk through that damn door that's doing my heart surgery. And I want to be the cockiest MFer in the whole place. Like, let's go, bro. And that's what you want from your pitchers. And that's what Alex Cobb has. His body language, the way he goes about it every day. I'm telling you, this guy's the real deal, man. And I thought he was last year. He had crap luck last year. He had buzzards luck. Every ground ball went through. I don't know what his batting average was in balls in play, but it was ridiculous. Go to Kevin in Novato. Kevin, I'm talking way too much. You're on the Sports Leader. What's going on?
FP, what's up, bud?
How you doing?
Good. Well, I have to say that I want to ask you questions about what's going on with Bill Lasky and Marty Lurie. I'm kidding.
Okay.
No.
I take the weekends off, dude. I know they're good people, but I don't listen on the weekends.
I know. Just kidding. But you talk crap about yourself about how like your time slot's not as good. I'm a fireman in San Francisco, and we listen to you all the time on Monday through Friday to fill the spot. So keep your head up. You're doing great.
Oh, dude, I'm joking. I love my job. I'm super blessed to have a job. Dude, you know why I like my job? I love you guys. Like, literally, I look forward to taking the calls every night. And I get fired up. Ask the guys behind the glass. I get fired up when we're like, did you see how many calls we had that segment? And it's not indicative of if you're doing a good show. I just love building relationships with you guys, the callers. I love to hear your takes. It gets me. So when you do a show by yourself, you're not feeding off a co-host. I'm feeding off you guys, and you guys get me going down paths I didn't even think I was going to go down. And 99.99% of you guys are some of the smartest calls I've ever seen in sports talk radio. So I love it. I love this job, dude. And if I alluded to the fact that I didn't, I'm sorry, because I love coming here every night.
No, I'm busting your balls too. I mean, it was like, I went the SFFD route rather than the NFL route. You're right out of the California, Cameron High School. And yeah.
Well, I would say your job right now is more important than being in the NFL by far. So thank you for what you do,
bro. But like you get it, and it's like you're an average dude. You can probably jump into the firehouse and be with us, like straight up, eat meals, and be the cool dude that you are.
I'd love to party with you guys. All my friends are cops and firefighters and military dudes and ex-baseball players. You guys are all the same, man. It's just like you get it. You're part of a fraternity. You're part of a team, and you have value to the guy next to you. And you care more about the guy next to you than yourself. You rather pull somebody out of a fire than have them pull you out of a fire. And you rather rescue somebody, and you rather
football.
Yeah, but you're about your bros, dude, and you're humble, and that's why I gravitate toward people like you. And that's the way my military buddies are. That's the way my baseball buddies are. And it's kind of a selfless thing where we had value to a tribe and we had value to each other. And we counted on each other. And then when you don't have that, when you retire as a firefighter, dude, you're going to have a tough time because you're going to have a tough time replacing that. And they all counted on me, and I was rescuing people, and the adrenaline rush of a call. And how do you replace that? That's hard, dude. So I hope you guys have something set up for when you retire, because there's nothing that can replace the feeling and the satisfaction of doing what you do right now.
FP, you're the best, dude.
All right, Kevin. Don't be a stranger.
Yeah, have a safe flight.
Thanks, homie. I appreciate it. Let's go to Orlando and Napa. Orlando, you are on KNBR 680, 104.5, the sports leader.
Wow. FP, I'm really, really impressed with those three guys. For years, I heard that the Giants had a poor farm system. All you heard was Ramos, Luciano, and all of a sudden, three unknown names come up who are contributing to the team. My God, are they contributing? And
it's exciting, right? I feel like Giants fans.
It is exciting.
I've been here for
I've
2
never
years.
Heard of these three guys.
This is my second season back in town, and I've never heard Giants fans this excited. Last year, it was kind of like wet blanket, buzzkill, and something to complain about every night. And even this year started out that way, and all of a sudden, I feel like we have a different attitude. And please don't get on the roller coaster either. They could lose 4 in a row. That's baseball. But I think it's just got a different feel right now with the young guys, right? It's got a different energy and a different vibe. At least that's what I'm feeling.
Yeah. And at the beginning of the season, the way things were going, I have to admit, I was down. I felt that, well, they may not go anywhere. But inside, I felt there's something here. but they just need to gel. They need to get together and gel. It's hard to realize football. You could see where it's a team sport, but baseball is too. It's psychologically a team sport. It's in the minds of every player. If one player, maybe a very popular player, he's down, the whole team often can be down.
I don't think they let you get down, Orlando. I remember, I think Alex Cobb was that guy I was actually talking to about this. He's like, when I was a young kid, I would just kind of tiptoe around the clubhouse. But if somebody comes in the clubhouse in a bad mood, I'm like, I'm not letting your bad day ruin my bad day. And he doesn't let that happen anymore. And I think that's the evolution of an athlete, or maybe anybody as a person, that you just don't let somebody who's a downer or somebody who's negative or somebody who's always complaining ruin your day. I find my way away from those people. And it's not that I'm better than them, Orlando. I'm not. It's just like I choose to be around positive, upbeat, fun people that are humble and really passionate about something. And those are the people I gravitate towards.
Me too.
All right. That's why you're such a good caller, Orlando. I appreciate it. We vibe on so many levels.
Yes. I wanted to tell you, you're talking about chocolate chip cookies. I was eating some while you were talking about it. My son has a house on the Smith River. Do you know where the Smith River is?
I don't.
Oh, it's in Del Norte County. It's a famous river for fishing, for salmon fishing.
It merges with the Jones River, right? The Smith and the Jones River merge together?
I don't know.
Right.
That's possible. I don't know. It's among the redwoods, big redwoods in there.
All right.
And he stops on his way back at a bakery. It makes these chocolate chip cookies that are vegan. There's no oil in it, but they're so good. They have chocolate chips, of course, little pieces of dried cranberry in it, and almonds. And they're firm and, really great cookies. And I want to ask you something. Would you accept stories for you and your audience? I have two that I want to tell you someday, not necessarily tonight. But one's a baseball story, involves my mother, and the other is a football story that involves a very famous NFL coach.
Well, as long as a football story doesn't involve your mother, yes, Orlando, I definitely want to hear the story. So yeah, we're up against the clock at the top of the
stories.
We're up against the clock at the top of the hour, Orlando. Thanks for calling, man. I got one more call to get to before I got to go to break. And then we have Evan Weibeck. He's going to join us from the San Jose Mercury News. He's working at the ballpark right now. Let's go to Kat in San Francisco. Kat, you're on the Sports Leader.
Oh, hey, listen, I wanted to talk to you about the Girl Scout cookies a little bit, just because I feel like it was kind of a little bit odd the way that the Girl Scout cookies were represented. And when these Girl Scout cookies are sold, the profits go to these unbelievable movements for girls and
that's awesome.
Tech, science. I'm looking at the website right now. It's like Girl Scout fights child marriage laws. So there's a huge benefit to the selling of these Girl Scout cookies that shouldn't just be about them, dressing up as cute and like selling these cookies for no reason. There's a ton of money that goes behind developing girls and into tech, science, and fighting a lot of the misogynist and sexist laws out there in the world. So I just couldn't let that go.
Well, I'm glad you called, Kat. That's awesome.
Say, buy a Girl Scout cookie for a lot more than, just, girls looking cute or having a delicious cookie. There's a lot. I just said it's hard to say no. That was my point. So if it goes to good things, that's amazing. But it is hard to say no. You can't argue with me on that. When they come up to you and they're just like, do you want to buy some cookies? I feel like I'm such a jerk if I say no. Like you have to say no. Like anybody that says no to Girl Scout cookies, you're kind of a jerk, I feel like, right? Totally. But just know that there's something so behind it. And I highly recommend there's a Freakonomics podcast all about the Girl Scout cookies.
That's awesome.
Hillary Clinton was a Girl Scout. I mean, like women high-powered women came up through Girl Scouts.
That's so cool.
And
Well,
it's about empowering girls and women. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Kat, that's awesome. Thanks for cleaning it up for us. I really appreciate it. And then that makes me feel better when I spend way too much money on Girl Scout cookies. It's going to a great cause. I love it. That's good stuff,
Indeed
Kat.
it is.
Thanks for the call, man.
Right.
Seriously.
All right. Cheers, man.
That's
All
cool.
right.
Cheers. First time caller, Kat, chiming in, tightening up the host. I love it. I just. Oh, Kat's a sweetheart, man. That was a good call. Thank you very much, Kat. I really appreciate you calling. Don't be a stranger. Call anytime that the night host is being silly. And that's what we were doing. We were being silly. I'm glad that we found out that it goes to a good cause. So even more reason to buy Girl Scout cookies. Whatever Kat said, do your homework, do your research, buy Girl Scout cookies. Even though I feel like they made them 14 years ago, it goes to a good cause. I better stop while I'm ahead. Coming up next, Evan Weibeck. He's going to tell us about what Minnesota's like. And the Giants, they've won 7 out of 8. He's reporting on them. He's in Minneapolis right now, and he's going to call the show, and we're going to talk to him next on the Sports Leader.
2-2 the count. Again, Yoval throws. Swing and a miss. He struck it out with yet another slider, and the ball game is over. He strikes out 3 in the inning to get another save, and the Giants have taken the first 2 games of this series. They've won 3 in a row, and now 7 of their last 8.
All right, my first and only guest tonight, nice enough to join us from Minneapolis. I don't know if he's still at the ballpark or not, but he's one of the hardest working beat writers in all of baseball, does a fantastic job for the San Jose Mercury News. Evan Weibeck joins the show. Evan, how you doing, man?
Doing well, FP. You are too kind.
No, thanks for coming on, man. I know what the grind is like. I've done it. I've been there. You're probably still in the press box hammering out tomorrow's story. I'm reading a quote right here on your Twitter 26 minutes ago. You can follow Evan at Evan Weibeck, just how it sounds, EvanWebeck. Now we're just playing the type of ball that we expected to play when we were leaving camp. The Giants won 7 out of 8. They're playing 500. Good vibes all around Giants right now. Who said that, by the way? Is that Alex Cobb?
That was Alex Cobb, our favorite person to talk to on the team. It's always a good day for reporters when it's an Alex Cobb start.
Dude, Evan, I've been saying that the whole show, that like baseball needs to do a better job of marketing their players, because I got to know this guy during FanFest this year. You know him as well as I do. He just is real, man. He's authentic. He's one of my favorites to be around. And he's at a point in his career where I think tonight was a perfect example of a guy that maybe didn't have his best stuff, that made adjustments throughout the course of the game, fought, scrapped, clawed. All of a sudden, he gets the win. He's 4-1.
100%. And, it's just an example of how fickle and how difficult it is to be a major league pitcher. I mean, Alex Cobb is here. He's 36 years old. He's in I believe it's his 12th season in the major leagues. He entered tonight leading the National League in an ERA, and he spent the first 5 innings trying to figure out his delivery. Once he did, those last 2 innings were gravy and really important for a Giants bullpen that's been fairly taxed and incredibly effective while building all that workload. But, Cobb grinded through 7 innings today. It was his 5th time this season going 7. And like you said, SP, it wasn't his best stuff, particularly with his splitter. That's his pitch. That's one of the better splitters, maybe better pitches in baseball generally when he's on. But he gave up the 2 home runs on those splitters that he just wasn't executing today. But he was able to settle in and find his delivery and made it through 7, which was really impressive. And Gabe Kapler shouted that out after the game and noted how important that was, because they had a few relievers that were down today. Tyler Rogers wasn't going to go. John Brebbia wasn't going to go. They had the rookie Ryan Walker throwing up in the bullpen in the late innings and with a 1-run lead. And Cobb made it through that inning and was able to turn it over to Scott Alexander and Camilo Doval. And I mean, this is the formula that the Giants thought they were going to get coming out of camp, was strong starting pitching, a solid bullpen, and basically an offense that they drew walks at the right time and came up with the big home run. And that's kind of their approach. And they're as Alex Cobb said, they're kind of finally putting it all together here. But 7 wins in their last 8 at 500, first time since April 6th.
So you and I know him very well. While the shutout was cool, the second of his career, the complete game shutout, I would imagine, just because he's such a gamer, that tonight is kind of right there with that, where the beer tastes really good tonight, because he knew he didn't have his great stuff and he beat a good team on the road. And when he relaxes and he goes back to his hotel room tonight and he has a cold one, tonight's got to be like almost as satisfying, that maybe in some ways more satisfying than his complete game shutout.
Satisfying, probably not going to. I don't think he's keeping any game balls from this one.
Yeah, that's just true. That's true. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
There was one game ball that came out of the game. It was Camilo Doval's, the final ball of the game. Camilo Doval's strikeout ball got capped, his 13th save of the season. He's leading the National League in saves. I think it was his 9th of the month, if I'm not mistaken. And frankly, I know where I'm going with my National League Reliever of the Month vote here at the end of the month.
Absolutely. I was saying earlier, I have Alex, Tyro, and Camilo as the All-Stars right now. If you had to pick 3 All-Stars from the Giants, I have those guys as the leaders in the clubhouse to go to Seattle in July.
And J.D. Davis making a good case too, and Lamont Wade, frankly. Although let's be real, they're not getting.
They're all going.
All-stars.
They're all Casey Schmidt. Everybody.
But I think it does speak to the fact that, the Giants have had a lot of things go right this season so far, but, they only just now have a 500 record to show for it. And it's because, a lot of things have gone wrong too, namely, the bullpen and a lot of their free agent acquisitions. But we're starting to see the tide turn on some of those negative things. Michael Conforto, my God, what a hot streak he's on. 6 home runs in 12 games. 2 in the past 2 days. He's finally turning it around. His numbers are coming back up to basically where they were, at the very start of the season. And then he's been able to, find his rhythm at the plate essentially after missing an entire year, and going through, trying to find his timing again, going through this new drill work in the cage with Justin Veely. And we're seeing the results on the field, and you look elsewhere too. And, the bullpen's been, like we said, tremendous over the last, 2 weeks. Taylor Rogers, part of that group, looking better than he had been earlier this season. Obviously, this is a big series for him, returning to Minnesota, for the first time, where he spent first 6 years of his career. And, I think Mitch Haniger's still searching a little bit, but he came up with, a really hard hit. Was it a double today? And so I think everything's kind of turning around. And what the question was, well, okay, they got these breakout performances at the start of the season. Everything's going right in terms of Tyro Estrada, J.D. Davis, Lamont Wade Jr., as we noted. But they weren't getting the free agent stuff and the big name production. They're starting to get that big name production now, and we're not seeing much of a slowdown from J.D. and Tyro and Lamont. And obviously getting the infusion from Casey Schmidt, a little bit from Patrick Bailey. So I think it's just a matter of can these kind of surprising-ish performances keep it up as what's expected from kind of the more guys with a longer history, as long as they start heating up. The Giants. Hey, I think they're a half game out of the wild card right now. Only a few games back of the NL West. Everything's in play. It's May. It's not even Memorial Day yet.
They're ahead of the Padres, who spent $400 gazillion this offseason. It's awesome the way they're coming together. Evan, you're around the team just like I am. You're around them probably more than I am, actually. Is there a different energy and a different vibe? I know there's 26 guys, and the worst question ever is like, what's the vibe of the team? Well, one guy's pissed, one guy's happy. There's no ever like vibe of the team. But do you notice a different energy with the younger guys in the clubhouse versus the way it was before? Because you and I have both been in the clubhouse. It's quiet. It's a quiet clubhouse. There's not a lot going on there. Is that changed a little bit with the kids running around and the kids producing so well so far?
For sure. Just on the last homestand, it was really hard not to notice in the Giants clubhouse. When you go in there after the game, it's usually pretty sparse. The guys are in the back getting treatment and all that. But we walk in and it's Bryce Johnson and it's Casey Schmidt playing bumper pool in the middle of the room. It was Tristan Beck putting on the putting green they have in there. And guys, I really do, I personally have felt the energy from the young guys. And I think it's kind of hard to miss because this is a veteran-laden group, particularly last season. It's led by Gabe Kapler, who preaches not getting too high, not getting too low. But these guys have brought just some new energy to the club and a different type of player, too, especially when you look at Casey Schmidt, a guy who is just ultra athletic in all facets of the game. I remember his first game, he gets clocked at a sprint speed of almost 30 feet per second, which is considered elite, not the speed that we thought Schmidt had. And obviously we've seen what he can do with his arm, 94 miles an hour, and the bat, everything that he's done so far this season. And he's also a guy who just has a different approach at the plate. This is a guy who swings. He hacks, right? He doesn't. The Giants kind of built their lineup with guys who are very similar. And this kind of came up during the Houston series when we had the whole Mauricio Dubon storyline and his comments, because Dubon is another guy who does not walk. He is really good at putting the ball in play. Schmidt, not quite the same type of contact hitter. But a guy who likes to attack pitches and isn't going to sit there and wait and kind of just patience is obviously something that's praised, but it's nice to have an aggressive hitter who sees a pitch and attacks it and is able to put it in play, rather than kind of what we saw over the first months of the season from the Giants. There was a lot of strikeouts, walks, and home runs, and not a whole lot else. And when the strikeouts start to pile up, and you don't hit a home run, and you don't get enough guys on base, then it's kind of tough to string together wins, and that's what we were seeing in the first part of the season. But they're able to put together rallies now and not win games just solely on the home run. We saw that on this last homestand. They went 3 straight games against the Phillies without a home run and swept them. And they had not won a game up until that series without hitting a home run this season.
Dude, I like the singles approach, man. It's baseball. I love when they're going the other way. That's locked in Michael Conforto, letting the ball get deep, going the other way. I mean, it'd be interesting, Evan, like when a player goes to his first new team and you've been with one organization for your whole life, there's this, I've been there and done that. And when I came to the Giants, there's this, you feel like you're a rookie again. You're trying to prove yourself all over again. And Robbie Thompson came up to me in spring training and told me when he went to Cleveland from the Giants that he tried too hard. And he forgot that he had already had 10 years in the big leagues, and he wanted to show everybody how good he was. And it's almost like when we got transferred or went to a new school and you didn't know anybody, it takes a minute to feel out your new teammates in a way to get to, can I tiptoe around this guy? Can I say hi to him? My new place I live in, how I drive to the park, my new fan base. There's an adjustment period. I mean, it would be interesting to see like how Michael Conforto has adapted, how Taylor Rogers has adapted. These guys that have played with, Taylor bounced around, but I'm talking about guys that play with one organization their whole life, and the Giants are their second team. That's not an easy adjustment for guys, I feel like. And we just feel like it's fantasy football. Just plug them in, they're going to go. But they're human beings, too. And if anybody's ever changed schools, you know that feeling.
Yeah, all these guys, right? You got to go find a place to live. You got to, figure out the scope of the city that you're in. It's totally right. It's essential, I think, for fans to remember that these guys are human beings. And I try to incorporate that as much as I can to my reporting and hopefully shed a little bit of the human element on these guys, because so often, we view baseball players, athletes as just, their statistic line, their stat line, and how are they affecting my fantasy team? And sure, these guys are making millions of dollars, and it comes with the territory, and they understand what they're getting into. But they're also human beings with emotions and feelings, and we've seen this kind of come to light over the last couple of years in baseball with an increased focus on mental health, and obviously the Giants are big leaders on that. I don't think that hurts in terms of incorporating new guys to the clubhouse. And again, the thing to remember with Conforto is that might not even have been his biggest challenge. The dude missed all of last season, and then he comes into this year and basically has to rediscover his swing and his timing, all, again, with the complications of being in a totally new organization. He doesn't have the same hitting coaches he once worked with, although the Mets didn't have much stability in terms of hitting coaches either.
Yeah.
So, it's been challenging for him, but I think we're starting to see, a turnaround here. And frankly, 6-7 weeks in, I think there's a good chance that this is the Michael Conforto. Maybe not a home run every other day, but, a middle of the order, feared hitter for sure is the type of guy that the Giants thought they were getting with Michael Conforto.
They should have something for mental health for new play-by-play broadcasters that have performance anxiety before they try Major League play-by-play on the radio. I'm all for that. Maybe the Giants can help me with that, too. What about Patrick Bailey? This is hard to say, man, but he's the guy. Isn't he the guy? He's the guy. They're winning. He looks like a catcher. He looks like Kurt Manwaring back there, Evan. I love Joey Bart and Blake Sable's a work in progress, whatever, but this guy looks the part. He looks like a catcher. They're winning with him. The pitchers seem to have relaxation and confidence with him. What's your take on Patrick Bailey so far as a Giants catcher?
The fact that he's come up and looked like a major leaguer at the plate, hitting, I think has been the biggest surprise and probably the most impressive takeaway. We knew what he could do with the glove. We knew probably a year ago he could have come up here and been the best defensive catcher on the team. He's had that reputation since they drafted him. And obviously, what you mentioned, he's the guy. He's their guy. He's this regime's guy. Farhan did not draft Joey Bart. He drafted Patrick Bailey, and that was obvious. That was only 2 years after Joey Bart was drafted in the first round. So, I mean, it sent a clear message drafting another catcher just 2 years after you spent another first-round pick on one. And this is not a knock on Joey at all. I mean, the dude he's had a really rough go health-wise this season. He really did seem to be kind of coming into his own a little bit before going down with this last groin strain. And, but yeah, you get Bailey up here and they're winning. And, he hasn't given them any reason to take him out of the lineup yet. We did see last night, we kind of saw the two rookies, they've been so impressive early this season. And finally, they had an off game. And who is it that picks them up? It's Conforto and some of the other veterans. But we saw Bailey, like Schmidt and Bailey were batted back-to-back yesterday. They come up twice after, some erratic pitching, basically putting multiple guys on base via the walk, and they come up and they're hacking away and not waiting, for their pitch, working the count against a guy who doesn't really know where the ball is going. And that's kind of the reality of being a rookie in the major leagues, is you're still feeling things out. But then we see, today, Bailey draws a big walk and I mean, frankly, he just looks comfortable at the plate, and from both sides too, which has not been the case throughout his minor league career. I mean, you look at his split numbers, and he's significantly better from the left side of the plate than he is from the right side of the plate. And it so happens his first two big league starts come against left-handed pitching. So switch hitter, bats from the right side of the plate, and what does he do? Rips his first big league hit in his first game, and then rips his first big league home run, both from the right side, which he had it's really gnarly. It's like a 500 OPS against right-handed pitching throughout the minor league career. And then shoot, he comes and finally gets to bat from the left side, his more comfortable side against the Twins. And what does he get? He gets Sonny Gray, major league ERA leader.
His right-handed swing will improve at the big league level because there's more lefties up here. If you're a lefty and you can pitch, you're at the big league level. You don't face many of them at the minor league level. So that side of the plate's going to develop right in front of our eyes. Evan, are you going to Milwaukee after this?
I will be in Milwaukee, taking a roundabout trip through Chicago. So that'll be fun.
Oh, the best city in America during the summer is Chicago. I am getting on a flight very early tomorrow morning to go to Milwaukee, so I owe you a beer or a drink for coming on the show tonight after a long day at work.
Gosh, where are we going to find beer in Milwaukee?
I don't know. I owe you a brat and some beer. I don't know if we can find that anywhere in Milwaukee. Maybe a Miller somewhere. All right, Evan, thanks for coming on tonight, dude. I appreciate it. You're great at what you do, and thanks for coming on to talk some Giants baseball here tonight.
Sounds good, man. Anytime.
That's Evan Weibeck. He is the Giants beat writer for the San Jose Mercury News. All right, coming up next on the other side of the break, tons of text messages about Kat. I can't wait to get to all those. Kat was awesome. I'm so glad she called the show. Kat, if you're still listening, thank you so much for calling the show and letting us know what the money for the Girl Scout cookies does. We had a little fun in the first segment about how they're irresistible. And when they come up to you, you have to say yes to Girl Scout cookies. But we're just painting the picture that they're making billions on that. We didn't know what it goes to, and Kat was telling us it all goes to great causes. So a lot of text messages. I want to thank Kat for calling. I personally want to thank Kat for calling. And she's a friend of the show. She can call any night she wants, but we're going to talk some more Giants baseball, maybe get into 49ers a little bit, and Brock Purdy on the other side of the break. You're listening to FP Santangelo on KNBR tonight on The Sports Leader. Such great tunes tonight by Jacob behind the glass. He's killing it, as usual. Ran down Evan Weibeck for us from Minnesota. Having a fun show tonight. It's always fun when your team wins 7 of 8 and gets to 500, right? Like, it's a good vibe right now with the Giants. It feels fun and fresh and new and organic. And the Hum Babies, Patrick Bailey, Casey Schmidt, Blake Sable, Ryan Walker. Get young, baby. It's a young man's game. It is. I mean, this is no offense to Yaz and Conforto and everybody else. Like Alex Cobb tonight, 36 years old in his 12th year in the big leagues, went out there and fought. But a nice mix, right? It's always good to have a mix of veterans and rookies that are dorks that the veterans could get on. And then the rookies that start to play well, then they get to a certain point where they get on the veterans for being old. And then you got that thing going back and forth, and it's good chemistry, it's good karma, it's good vibes in the clubhouse. I want to get to some text messages first before we get to replaying Dwayne Kuiper from earlier today. The 510 chimes in. I hope you're still listening because this is a really good text. This is from Edward. He says, FP, I really love you and have called and texted in the past, always complimentary of you and your show. Just for the record, I was a scholarship college Division I athlete and later coach at the D1 level. That's really cool, so congrats on that. So, like you, I've been around jocks all my life. As a person of faith, I don't drop F-bombs, but I want to beat the hell out of my opponents more than anyone. Maybe the pitcher for Colorado felt the same way. As the kosher hot dog commercial used to say, we live for a higher standard. Keep up the great work. One of the best text messages I've ever received on this show. And he's right. You don't have to drop F-bombs to be a competitor. That was stupid of me to say. But, I mean, you could still be a man of faith and not swear and be a competitor. That's been proven throughout the course of time. But that's a really, really good point. You're absolutely right. Thank you for the text. So, Edward, good stuff, man. Really, really good stuff. And there's all kinds of text messages on the text line right now about Kat. Kat was the star of the show. Let me see. I want to address some of the text messages before we get to Kuip. One was about pitchers calling pitches. Where is that one? I got to find it real quick. Oh, FP, can you please explain how Webb and Cobb call their own pitches? Does the catcher still call location? Is the location transmitted on the pitch comm? It is. So they call their own pitches. They get into a rhythm, and it's something like slider inside. And so the catcher sets up. What I've learned is that the catcher can veto the pitch. So if you call it on your pitch comm, you reach around your belt, call slider, and the catcher's adamant about a fastball in, he hits his knee, and so he's got the last say because there's not enough time to go back. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. Go back to the pitcher, and that's how that works. So for Webb and Cobb, DeSclafani's the best at it. DeSclafani commands the mound with his pitch calling skills. He gets the ball back, calls a pitch, gets on the mound. And as a hitter, I'm like, oh, man, he already knows what he wants to throw me? That's intimidating, man. That's a momentum. But all of a sudden, if Joey Bart or Patrick Bailey, I don't imagine Patrick Bailey does it a lot, right, as a kid. But maybe. And then you say, no, we're going with curveball here instead of changeup. And then that's that. So, yeah, I mean, it's really, I don't know. It's an interesting thing and a very good question from the 415. So you press a button on your belt. If you watch Logan Webb, he covers it up with his glove because there's a thought that the third base coach can see where you're pressing. And if all the buttons are the same on all the different belts, which I don't think they are, or maybe you take a second longer to reach all the way back and press a changeup, and then now I see that you're fuddling and fooling for the buttons, which Logan has told me that before. Like, sometimes I just don't hit the right button. Can you imagine? What does the game come to? I don't hit the right button. And I gotta talk to Mike, who's the best color analyst in the league, because I love when he says, and so putting down the signs in the squat, and he says it every game when he does a defense. He's got to say pressing the buttons now in the squat. Like, he got to change it up. Say pressing the buttons in the squat. I love when he does that every night. It always makes me giggle. It never gets old. So, yeah, a very good question. So all the awesome text messages I want to get to real quick here. Hey, FP, can I be your TV radio agent? I'll negotiate private jet travel and 5-star hotels only in your contract for less than 3% industry rate. Hit me up. Yeah, I got it, dude. I actually have an agent right now, and he gets way more than that, which I don't know. Anyways, that's a story probably not for here. And all really complimentary text messages for Kat, who called in. Kat fixing to educate you. Kat would like to speak to your manager. No, she wouldn't. We ironed it out. She's awesome. Well done. FP Cat is on the prowl. She was, but she had great points, man. I love. You guys know how deep I am in the show. I love thoughtful calls. I love people that are deep. I love people that make a great point, and she made a great point tonight. She was awesome. She knew all the great causes for Girl Scout cookies and where the money actually goes. And my point was that they're just hard to say no to. And if you say no to Girl Scout cookies, that's kind of like a deal breaker for me. Like if I'm going on a date with a girl and we're walking down the street and a Girl Scout comes up to that girl and says, Girl Scout cookies, you want to buy some? And she says no. I'm like, peace. Sorry. That's like being rude to a server. That's the other thing that's a deal breaker to me. If I go to dinner with somebody and they're like, excuse me, I've been waiting 10 minutes for my drink. We're done, because servers make the world go round and they're awesome and they bust their ass. And yes, that's a deal breaker for me. Oh, here comes. Let's go to Robert in Sacramento. Robert, you're on KNBR. What's going on, Robert?
Hey, Effie, I know it's short time with you, but I got a great little Girl Scout story for you. I was working or volunteering actually with the service organization doing Christmas tree pickup. You know, a bunch of organizations do that sort of thing, right, to raise money for different various charities and whatnot. And I was tasked with, having the media guy. And you were talking earlier about like misspeaking on, audio and radio or media or whatever. So I'm young and I'm just learning this sort of thing. And we're rolling through this area and there's like 3 different trees on this one street. And I was talking to the media guy. I said, we want to make sure that we get, the right tree, because there's other worthy organizations that are, doing the same thing to raise money for kids. And he goes, oh yeah. He goes, a buddy of mine, his Girl Scout troop is doing that. And I go, exactly. And I didn't think when I said it, I go, yeah, you don't want to make the Girl Scouts mad because they might spike your cookies. And he laughed and I laughed, and I thought it was a joke or whatever. Yeah, when I got home 4 hours later and they did the news spot on the news, it come through and it was like all this great program that I did. And then at the end of the segment, they came at home and they said that they audioed it out with me. I'm like, we're not the only worthy organization out here picking up trees. The Girl Scouts are out there. And then they dubbed everything and like, yeah, they might spike your cookies. So that's what I'm known for.
All right. Well, there's a lot of good causes for the Girl Scouts, and it's a wonderful organization. And I learned that tonight.
Big fan. I love them. They do a great organization and do a lot. And go buy cookies.
And the Boy Scouts, on the other hand, they suck. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to stir the pot.
Well, they pick up Christmas trees too.
I'm sure they have good causes too.
Good.
Robert, thanks for the call. I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to get in trouble tonight. Peter in San Jose. Peter, you're on KNBR. What's going on? Peter.
Hey, FP. How you doing?
Good, man. Thanks for calling.
Hey, what do you think? I feel bad for Logan Webb. He's going to be like the best pitcher of all time not to make an all-star team.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. That's a really good point. Making an all-star team is about getting off to a good start. It's about being a first-half player. And there's been so many great players throughout the course of baseball, the history of baseball, that are second-half players. They're hitting like 240 at the break that never really get to an all-star game or get to as many as they should because they're slow starters. Once you get the reputation or whatever, then it kind of like flows for itself. But there's a lot of slow starters in baseball. If they had an all-star team at the end of September or early October, would be on it every year, but they never make it because they get. And if you look at Logan Webb's numbers early on throughout his whole career, his first 5 or 6 starts are usually clunky, and then he settles in.
Yeah, I've seen that even with Brandon Crawford. He had an overall year where he just the overall numbers aren't that good, and he was an all-star. And then he had like the best year of his career before 2021. He wasn't an all-star, so it's like a first half kind of accolade, which I think it's kind of because you always, when you talk about a player, 3-time MVP, 10-time All-Star, but the All-Star is kind of overrated. That's what I'm glad the MLB started following the NBA and the NFL's lead. They're doing these all MLB teams, so hopefully you can push for that. But I feel sorry because the guy's starting to pitch really good, and now they're not giving him any run support, so everybody still looks at the kind of antiquated win-loss record, which isn't really in his control. So I'm just hoping the guy can just keep pushing and hopefully make an all-star team.
Alex Cobb Tyro Estrada and Camilo Duvall are my all-stars as we speak today. And there's only a month left before they start picking them kind of like middle of June, end of June, because the all-star game's like July 10th, 11th, or 12th, something like that little weekday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in the second week of July. So you got to start thinking about it here in a week or so once the calendar turns to June, because then the managers and the votes start coming in, and the players vote, the fans vote, the managers vote. I think it's more accurate assessment of who's having a good season. But if I had to pick right now, I hate to not say J.D. Davis, but those are my three all-stars from the Giants. We'll see. And there's something cool about seeing your guys run out on the line. I just love it every year when your team has multiple guys and they raise their hat up to the fans. It'll be in Seattle this year, which is American League City. But I'm sure a lot of Giants fans will travel to Seattle for the All-Star game. And I don't know, there's just something cool. I don't like that they all have the same unis now. The All-Star game to me is about all the different unis standing on the first and third base lines. As a kid, I was like, oh my God, look at the Expos clown unis or whatever. It was cool to see the different uniforms. And I think Major League Baseball is kind of dropping the ball on the whole everybody has to have the same uniform thing.
Oh yeah, I agree. I love seeing Derek Jeter next to, well, he was in the American League, but like Barry Bonds and Ken Griffey Jr. and all these just like generational talents in the same dugouts, but they're wearing their own uniforms. It always looks so cool. And then the video games had that, what they're doing now, and I hated on the video games that they would have the National League All-Stars, these really boring draft jerseys.
All right, man.
It's way cooler when they, yeah.
Peter in San Jose, good stuff, man. I appreciate the call.
Yeah, have a good one.
Have a good one, dude. All right, coming up right now, Dwayne Kuiper was on the morning show, and I think it was awesome for him to come on the morning show this morning, if you know what I'm saying. A lot going on. So here's Dwayne Kuiper. He was on earlier today on the morning show with Murph and Mac.
Our Tuesdays with Dwayne Kuiper, we love it. The Giants are hot, hot, hot. As we say good morning to